You don't hear about explorers in Star Wars too often, but there are a very interesting selection of ships available to and suitable for them. Today we're going to take a look at a few. I'm Joey from Radio Free Coruscant, and these are 5 more of the best ships for explorers in Star Wars. E9 Explorer. First up is a pretty significant omission from the first exploration ship list I made. The cumbersomely named Lorinar Corporation E9 Explorer-class armed long-range scout vessel was a pretty interesting ship. It started out as an unarmed transport near the end of the Clone Wars, but suffered from poor sales due to the greater capabilities of its competitors. Lorinar quickly began offering a new armed version, which quickly improved sales, but also attracted the ire of the recently formed Empire. The Empire had been cracking down on manufacturers selling ships with unnecessary weaponry. Lorinar entered a long legal battle with the Imperial Bureau of Shipyards and Construction, which ended in the ship being reclassified as a long-range scout ship. The Empire may have frowned upon a freighter carrying weapons, but a scout that would be traveling far outside the protection of the Imperial Navy would certainly need some. Lorinar also upgraded the ship's sensor package and changed its marketing strategy to match its new role, and its once jeopardized construction continued well into the New Republic era. Ironically, for all the trouble Lorinar got into over its weapons, the loadout was quite small. Just 2 laser cannon turrets. It measured 65 meters long by about 40 meters wide and 15 tall. It had a Class 1 hyperdrive and a top speed of 950 kilometers per hour, perfect for a scout ship. It required 4 crew, carried 4 passengers, and could hold 2 years of consumables. Its original cargo capacity as a freighter is unknown, but as a scout ship it had a large enough cargo bay to hold a small repulsor craft such as a speeder or a few bikes. These could be deployed to the ground through a ventral cargo elevator. Its cargo capacity made it popular with pirates and merchants, and its other facilities on board made it popular with civilians as well. It had large crew quarters for extended voyages, as well as a lounge with an auto chef, hologame table, and other entertainment facilities. Some E9s were even converted into yachts by wealthy people looking for a durable and easy-to-maintain personal ship. Most E9s did reach their final target audience of explorers, though. Pirate Frigate. I was a huge fan of Skeleton Crew, but something I found odd about it were its ship designs. Both forms of the Onyx Cinder were S-tier designs to me, but the background ships were pretty hit or miss, and the main villain ship, the as-yet unnamed pirate frigate, was downright puzzling. Why does it look like that, with the giant unbalanced ventral fin and pod, and why are the pirates using it? But when I was pondering ideas for this list, I came up with an answer that I quite like. What we call Silvo's unnamed pirate frigate may originally be some kind of exploration vessel. It appears to have a lot of sensors and antennae, more than you usually see on warships. The arrowhead-shaped upper hull houses the ship's main systems and crew quarters, and below it is a pretty huge hangar for the size of the ship. This would hold 1 or 2 shuttles for landing research teams, and perhaps the pirate attack skiffs were originally part of its complement before being armed by Silvo's crew. Continuing downward, the big awkward fin holds a massive instrument pod at the bottom with terrain scanning sensors. The frigate would hang in the atmosphere, thoroughly searching a planet's surface for valuable minerals, remnants of lost civilizations, or whatever the mission called for. Obviously, the technology of Star Wars could accomplish this from orbit, or probably even further, but Star Wars is a fundamentally aesthetics-driven franchise, and the Zeppelin-like vibe of this ship, with the lower pod plus the way it was used in the At-Atin raid, says to me that it's meant to be used in atmosphere. It kind of feels like a separatist design to me, with the top part reminding me a little bit of the Sabaoth destroyer, so perhaps these were used by the Banking Clan or Trade Federation to scour the galaxy for raw materials to build their fleets. This one in particular stumbled onto a pirate base, or was abandoned near one after the end of the war, and got turned into Silvo's frigate with more weapons and boarding tubes added to raid captured vessels. So, if my take on the ship is correct, and they always are, you could use an exploration frigate for just about any large-scale exploration mission. Scouting colony locations, finding resources to mine, contacting potential new trade partners with no hyperspace capability of their own, etc. Basically anything you would need a large, well-armed, sensor-laden ship for. The frigate measured 237.2 meters tall by 185.4 wide and 283.6 long. It likely had a Class 1 or 2 hyperdrive and a top speed of 850 km per hour in atmosphere. The pirate version had around 30 to 35 dual turbo laser turrets, but I imagine my hypothetical civilian version probably had closer to 10. Then again, as a separatist ship during wartime, maybe it would have been better to carry a large loadout in case of Republic interference, so perhaps not. We see at least 18 crew members, but I imagine there were probably more like 200 to 300 in total. It could probably carry at least 100 passengers, 1,000 tons of cargo, and 2 years of consumables as well. It's hard to say what such a ship may have cost, but based on its size and expensive sensor suite and weapons, I would guess it to be at least 10 million credits originally. Trident-class Surveyor. Another fantastic ship for explorers is the Arakid Industries Trident-class Surveyor ship. Arakid was famous for its lineup of probe droids, spy droids, and exploration droids, so if they're making a whole ship for it, you know they mean business. The Trident was built to be just as effective underwater as in space, and had several systems that made it of particular interest to oceanic researchers. The front half of its upper deck was largely occupied by a special cargo bay that was equipped with pressure controls and pumps to open the bay while submerged without flooding the ship. This essentially gave it what is known in naval parlance as a moon pool, or even more whimsically, a wet porch. A moon pool allows the ship to deploy divers, probes, and additional exploration craft directly into and under the water. The Trident was not exclusively an underwater explorer though, and it was designed for all manner of hostile environments, thanks to its durable hull and exotic technologies. Another of these was its advanced droid brain. Unusually for a starship, this AI was programmed with a distinct personality, one of scientific curiosity and loyalty to the crew. This AI could control the ship almost entirely on its own, as well as handle the processing of scientific data collected on the ship's journey. It and the other computer systems were located in a hidden room on the upper deck. The lower deck was perhaps less interesting, housing the ship's bridge, living spaces, a computer lab, science lab, medbay, and escape pod. The bridge could also function as a life raft in case of underwater catastrophes. It could work in space too, but it was not equipped with propulsion, so it was better suited for returning to a planet's surface from below rather than above. The Trident class was fairly large at a size of 82.5 meters long by about 35 meters wide and 19 meters tall. At least my model of it is, anyway. It's based on the only official illustration of this ship, though that seems awfully tall for a ship with only 2 decks. We don't know the average deck height of a Star Wars ship, but in Star Trek it tends to be around 3.5 meters tall, so a 2-deck ship would only need to be around 8 meters tall. But it has to be 19 meters tall to make it look like the illustration, so either the Trident is designed for people that would make an NBA team jealous, it actually has more than 2 decks in-universe, and the internal layout was just simplified for the TTRPG magazine it was created for, or most likely, the illustrator did not take the size of the ship into consideration when drawing it. I had to change the proportions of a few things, like the windows, to make it look the correct size. But anyway, it had a top atmospheric speed of 800 kilometers per hour and aquatic speed of 200 kilometers per hour, or 500 and 125 miles per hour, both of which were very impressive for what amounts to a pair of bricks stacked on top of each other. Star Wars atmospheric speeds are usually pitiful compared to Earth airplanes, but I think we can forgive that for a ship that looks like this. And its aquatic speed is quite remarkable. Earth's fastest production submarines, the Acclamator-class from Russia and Seawolf-class from the US, can only reach a comparably pitiful 65 kilometers per hour, or 40 miles per hour, and the fastest submarine speeds ever recorded are not much faster. And none of them are equipped with a blisteringly fast Class 0.75 hyperdrive, like the Trident is, only a little bit slower than the Millennium Falcon. The Trident was armed with a double turbolaser turret and a concussion mine layer, typically equipped with 12 seismic charges. It required a crew of 7 to 10, but thanks to its droid brain, it could be operated by as few as 1 if need be. It could also carry 3 passengers, 8 tons of cargo, and 9 months of consumables. All of that came at a steep cost, though, with a price tag of 1.475 million credits new, or 950,000 used. But for anyone looking to explore underwater, inside gas giants like Yavin, or any other extreme environment, there is no other ship worth considering. Defender Cruiser. For captains in search of a more Star Trek-like exploration experience, the New Republic's Mon Calamari Shipyard's Defender-class cruiser could be a possibility. We don't know a lot about these ships yet, but I suspect a large part of their mission was outreach programs to demonstrate the New Republic's goodwill, and potentially even exploration missions to chart new worlds to bring into the Republic. The ship is dotted with several sensor towers and has 4 fairly large hangars, making it a great ship for expanding New Republic territory. I have long thought that a Star Wars exploration show would be really cool, and this would be the perfect ship to use for one. Though on the other hand, its Starfleet-esque appearance might be a little too on the nose. Unfortunately, there is not a whole lot to describe about this ship to sell you on its use in exploration, but too much to need or be able to just make something up instead. You could carry shuttles in the hangars to take away teams to a planet's surface to look around, or use its forest of antennae to scan locations from orbit. It measured 995.7 meters long by 217 meters wide and about 175 tall. Its top speed and hyperdrive rating were unknown, but I would guess them to be about 950 kilometers per hour and Class 1 respectively. It was armed with 7 turbolaser turrets and a tractor beam projector, and carried a small complement of starfighters. I would guess it to have a crew of about 3,000, a passenger capacity of 500, 10,000 tons of cargo capacity, and 2 years of consumables. Based on its size and relatively low weapons count, it probably had a price of 50 to 100 million credits. Acclamator. And finally, one of the best ships for exploration in Star Wars has got to be the Rothana Heavy Engineering Acclamator-class transgalactic assault ship. While this military transport may not seem like an intuitive choice for explorers, it had a blisteringly fast hyperdrive and a very long range that would make it very useful. These were, of course, designed to allow the Republic to project force all across the galaxy at a moment's notice, but would obviously be very appealing to explorers too. Its enormous cargo capacity would be the icing on the cake, allowing explorers to carry around all manner of exploration materiel, from mining vehicles to prefab colony structures, or whatever your particular brand of exploration may require. It could also carry LAATs, which you could probably use to get around on a planet's surface, or swap out for whatever repulsor craft you prefer. The Republic, and later the Empire, may have used acclamators to land invading armies, but it was more than capable of landing an army of scientists, miners, colonists, or anything else with ease as well. Finally, its elevated control tower gives its crew a commanding view of the landing zone, making it an instant base of operations upon landing, for whatever your operations may be. The Acclamator measured 752 meters long by 460 meters wide and 183 meters tall in flight, or 200 tall on the ground. This height was roughly equivalent to a 66-story building. Its speed was absolutely incredible for its size, at 1200 kilometers per hour or 745 miles per hour, and a blistering Class 0.6 hyperdrive, one of the fastest ever installed on a mass-produced starship. Its hyperdrive had a range of 250,000 light-years, which seems like a rare stat to have a record of. I don't think I've seen that before, but I'm sure I've just missed it plenty of times. It was quite well armed for its size, with 12 quad turbolaser batteries, 24 point defense laser cannons, and 4 heavy ordnance launchers capable of firing either torpedoes or missiles. Where exactly all of these weapons are hiding, I do not know, because they aren't visible on its surface in any of its depictions, so they must have been retractable for safety. It required 700 crew and could carry 16,000 passengers. An Acclamator typically carried 320 speeder bikes, 66 LAATIs, 14 LAATCs, 48 ATTEs, 36 SPHAs, and an additional 11,250 tons of cargo. This was a properly massive cargo capacity, and you would not struggle to fit all the exploration gear you could possibly need to take with you. If anything, you'd struggle to fill it. But of course, the cost of all that adds up fast, and the Acclamator came with a price of 29 million credits. But that doesn't seem like too bad of a deal, if you ask me. And those are 5 more of the best ships for explorers in Star Wars. Let me know which of these you would choose, or what you would use instead in the comments. Make sure you check out the first installment next, and subscribe so you don't miss a video. Finally, thank you for watching. Live long and prosper. RFC, out.